Hello, everybody. Dave Neal here, stand-up comic, host of Bachelor Nation News. We've got Becca, that's Thomas and Becca, on the Talking It Out podcast with Mike and Brian. And Talk It Out, they will do. Do me a favor, follow me on Instagram at dneals for stand-up comedy clips and other content, not necessarily Bachelor-related. And also, don't forget to hit the subscribe button if you haven't already. You might think you're subscribed, you might not be. Double check. Hit the subscribe button and like this and every other video an odd number of times. We'll get right into it. I got 5 clips to play for you guys. But first, let's just go through some of their adorable photos of the last few days. We got 5 clips coming out talking about their relationship. Here they are playing with their dogs. Look at that. Oh, you gotta love dogs. If you don't, it says more about you than it does about the animal. All right. Who bit you when you were a kid? A nice charcuterie plate hanging out there. They got some wine. Oh, boy. Here we go. Breaking news. Illegally drinking an open container in public while a corgi pees in the background. All right, here we go. Loving what we're seeing here. Oh, panting. All right, so there they are. And then Thomas's page. They've got what looks to be, this looks like the cover of like it's one of those in-style home living journal. What are those magazines you buy when you're bored or you see them at the gym? You know, you wanted people, but someone else took it. So you're on the machine just, looking at these celebrities' dogs. Anyway, they're getting along. There they are. Fall girl season. Gotta love your layers. Oh, ladies love a good layer. She's layering up on the animals. There they are. The cutest in the world. I mean, we're seeing a relationship emerging. So we'll get into all of this. We'll play the 5 clips. Don't forget, I got a video on Facebook only. It's only on Facebook. I made it this morning. Just an update. Just did Reality Steve's podcast. You can go listen to that. Go search him on podcast apps. All right, let's get right into it. What do you guys think? There's 5 clips. Let's play each of them. Here we go.
You had this terrible edit on, your season with Katie. I mean, talk to me. How do you feel about the now coming off the Bachelor in Paradise?
Well, all of it's worth it wholeheartedly. As unfortunate as it was at times, and as much as of a mind F it is for you guys, I can guarantee it was a much bigger mind F for myself. But coming out of that and then seeing where we are now, I would do that 1,000 times over and over again if it meant that we got to this moment where we're sitting next to each other and we're able to live our lives together. I mean, we're going to tacos after this. And at the end of the day...
Sorry, shrimp tacos?
All shrimp tacos.
But like just the ability to find somebody like who you can share your life with, I would do things far worse than what happened on Katie's season, everything after that to be there. You're trying to incriminate me. You're trying to
put her on the spot, putting you on the spot. Becca is a host. She knows what she's doing.
Look at
what?
Yeah, what?
Use a host. All right, so there it is. He said, I would do it 1,000 times over. That feels like a Sarah Bareilles song. I would be the villain 1,000 times over just to see your face smile again. There it is, folks. Yeah, your boy. Sarah Bareilles, never know when we're going to pull out a good reference. There it is.
That I was very vocal about on my time in Paradise and in my interviews with the producers is and even coming down in general, I was so scared to have any sort of public relationship again. That was, I would say, one of my biggest fears, just because it's one thing to be in a public relationship, but then I went through a public breakup. And that's the part that really scared me that I never want to go through again. And so it was just this internal battle. And I was like, I got to the point, and it was more so like around, I would say, when we broke up, when Thomas is like, I don't want you to have any what ifs. Obviously, I ended things that day on the beach and walked away with so many what ifs. But then I think what really did it is seeing him in the real world, because right when we got back from the beach, we got together and we spent time together down in San Diego. And obviously at that point it was very private because we couldn't be out in the open and in public, but just to see him for who he is in his daily life, in his own space, with his family, with his dogs, with work, everything. I would say just him in general, like he just has a calming presence for me. And like, I fell for him really fast outside of Paradise. Like because we obviously we tell each other we love each other, and we maybe held it in for like a week or two and it was just bursting out of me. But I think it's because of just who he is. Like he's so supportive. He's so just funny and quirky in the cutest ways. Like everything about him, I just felt safe with. Like I haven't felt in the past, and I was like, this guy is my guy, and I can't let my fear of, because now we're well known together in this setting because of the show, like ruin what we have. And so I just had to focus on that and be like, if I'm going to be all in, I'm going to be all in with him. And I just have to be open to that. And I can't fight it. Obviously, like, we can't change the past. We went on a TV show. People watch it. People like the show. And so I just had to be like, I'm going to lean on him when times are hard and vice versa. And we're going to get through it together. But yeah.
There it is. There it is, folks. She says, I wanted to go all in. And Thomas says, I wanted to go all in too. What are we doing here? All right. So a couple more clips here. Scared of a public relationship because of her public breakups. She said, I fell for him really fast. That's she fell for him really fast. Listen, she also said she was able to see him in the real world. Bachelor in Paradise is like checking out a new car at the car dealership. They're all going to look shiny. They're all going to have new car smell. You got to get it out there and test it in the field. You got to run it over a few potholes, a couple speed bumps. You got to hit that bar thing when you're going into the, parking garage. You got to deal with a rainstorm. You got to see if there's any tread on the tires during the snow. So they got to take it for a real world trip, and that's what they're doing now. So, she also said she enjoyed Thomas, seeing how he was with his family, which it's like, of course, you got to see how people interact with their family. But she also said how he interacted with his dogs. I'm telling you guys, we got a hit on our hands. I want to create a show called Puppy Love, where you don't date the person, you just get to date their dog. So hold on, you get to meet their puppy, you get to meet their animal, their dog, whatever age. We're not ageist when it comes to dogs. We love senior dogs. Shout out to my Basset Hound. And then you get to see if they're well-trained, if they're likable, if they're, and then you get to judge based on the grooming of the dog and the general aura of the dog if you'd get along with the owner. Because every owner, you ever meet an a-hole dog, it comes with an a-hole owner. They're just reflections of the people. All right, my dog pooped inside yesterday, but we still love him. He's getting old. That's right. Here we go. All right, next one. Becca Kufrin reflects on why Thomas fighting for her was so important. Oh, they start with PDA. Gross.
You mentioned on the show, and correct me if I'm wrong, I'm paraphrasing here, but you said that no man
I'm not kidding.
had ever fought for you the way Thomas did. Is that correct?
Yeah.
Elaborate on that.
Can you reflect on that for the audience on how important something like that is to a woman? And, pretty much the fact that you had never experienced that in past relationships, which is very telling. I mean, talk about your man right there.
Yeah. And I would say, I was talking about my most two recent relationships, obviously,
Garrett,
which were both
Ari.
because of the show. It's, for anyone listening, news flash, I got engaged twice.
Breaking news.
But yeah, the world saw how my relationship with Ari unfolded and how that ended, which was really tough. But there wasn't much dialogue there other than him ending things on TV, and that was kind of it.
Yikes.
And then in my past relationship with Garrett, obviously the breakup was a lot more private, but I never felt like those two men who, we had promised our lives to each other at one point, and we, I had the ring, we were committed for a short amount of time, but I never felt like they were all in, like ready to fight. And for both of those breakups, it was just kind of like, there wasn't much dialogue or like passion. It was more so it just ended in the ways that it did. And with him, even though we didn't know each other for very long, but we still, I think, had so much feeling with one another that when he was like, have faith in us, fight for us, like leave here with me, don't have the what ifs. Hearing him say those things was so important because I had never had that. And I was like, and I was kind of taken aback in that moment because I was like, oh my gosh, he's actually serious. We never really got into the nitty gritty of like, what are we on the beach? Like how serious it actually was until that last day. And so it was in those moments where I saw how committed he actually was to being in this relationship and wanting to truly fight for it, where it was a new experience for me. And I was like, that's really special. And if he's willing to do that, then I'm willing to do that too. Obviously, we came back and had to explore that on our own away from the cameras. But in that moment, I think that was game changing for me because I really never had somebody fight, I would say like tooth and nail to want to keep a relationship with me.
There it is, folks. We had breaking news in that statement. He's fighting for her. I mean, look, we see sort of a counter-dependent, codependent relationship where Becca's had 2 failed relationships work, or not work, because of the show. So she meets a guy and she's like, no. You might maybe the first red flag or the first speed bump, whatever it is. Like, no. I don't see us getting there in 5 days. It's not going to work. And he's like, fight for me. And she's like, no. And she goes home. And she gave him the out. She gave him the chance to go on with his life. Hello, there he is. Shows up maybe a week later. Hey, I still think I want to do this with you. The cameras are off. What do you say? And then he pets her dog, and that's not a pun. And then they get it going. All right, 2 more clips. Loving what I'm seeing from this interview.
Give you the best advice from former contestants.
Probably Ben. I would say Ben just because he was the only one that could kind of relate because obviously he was a bachelor and then went to do winter games. So he kind of knew what to expect, what to prep for. Obviously on his time on winter games, he didn't go for very long. And it was, I think, a really rough go for him. And he admitted, he's like, I wasn't in the right headspace to be there. I wasn't fully over like the past relationship, and just being back in that space brought up a lot of old emotions and memories from his time as the lead. And so he's like, if you truly think you're ready to date in a public way again and can get through it and have a support system and some of your friends down there, he's like, I say do it. And everyone that I've talked to that has either worked on Paradise or that has done Paradise has said that it's the most fun that they ever have on any season. Champagne. And so that's what I was hoping for, and they weren't wrong. I will say, it's out of everything I filmed, Paradise was the most fun, worthwhile time I've ever had on, even as my time as the Bachelorette, I would say.
Yeah, because you're not forced, you're not the lead where the cameras are on you. Some might say Becca and Thomas got the best edit possible because the cameras, they let the audience decide if we liked them. Through Tia, whatever, Glia, Shia LaBeouf, through Tia, she was like, I want someone to fight for me the way Thomas is fighting for Becca. The chicken nuggets, the tower, the leaning tower of chicken nuggets, or the pyramid of nuggets, or whatever. So we saw through other people's stories that Becca and Thomas were thriving. We'd see him in the background of a video. He's carrying her along, and they're doing their thing. We didn't get, obviously, if it bleeds, it leads, and we didn't get too much drama from them, so they didn't have much to air. But, good for them. Good for them to be able to share that experience and come out of it unscathed.
Next time we talk to you all, we might have some turtles. We'll probably have a fish. I don't know.
Maybe a baby. I mean, we'll find out.
Hey, you said it. I mean, do we have a wedding being planned? I don't know, an engagement, I don't know, down the line? What's going on there?
Thomas, I think, has set the precedence that he wants me to propose to him one day.
Not true.
So just how you reached out to him after the show.
Once again, we are spinning the truth on this one.
So Thomas, that edit that you got on Katie's season?
Asking about like her ring.
Wait, for who?
To you.
Oh yeah, okay. I was like, who else are you talking to about this?
So it's something we've talked about. I mean, I don't want to spend my life with anybody else.
Yeah.
And
oh God, don't cry. I'm gonna cry right now.
I will say I'm gonna probably hate myself for actually admitting this to anyone, but I called my mom and I was like, Mom, and even though I was engaged twice in the past, I was like, Mom, I think I want to marry this guy.
Whoa!
It's the first time I've ever actually said that out loud. So
I think I want to marry this guy. Breaking news, folks. You heard it here first.
Goodbye.
I'll turn that off here. Breaking news. You heard it here first. All right, let's get out of that. Very interesting stuff going on here. I knew it'd be a good interview. But, I don't generally like the lovey-dovey ones, but we're happy for Becca. Can you imagine her dad? Third guy in 3 years. I'd like to ask your daughter permission. Yes, just go for it. But I promise you, if you mess this up again, I'm sick of buying weddings. I'm getting discounts at the tuxedo dealership because of Ari and Garrett over here. Oh, boy. All right. Well, let's read some of your thoughts. Of course, The Becca and Thomas fan group, otherwise known as Thecca, has been making a good go of all of this. So let's read some comments there. Dating in real life after a BIP sounds like a normal growth of relationship. Probably one of the most normal after a BIP since they live so close to and spend so much time together. Oh yeah, they're perfect because they're technically long distance. They're San Diego to LA, which can be 3 to 4 hours, depending on which way you're going. It can also be under 2 hours, depending on traffic. But that's still close for the weekend visits and to see each other. It's not like they're going cross country here. I'm really happy for them. Don't think we've ever seen Becca this happy and content before. And we've never seen her previous fiance, I don't count Ari, give her this affirmation like Thomas does. Good for them, and I hope they last. It's telling that Becca has never wanted to actively marry her previous fiancés. Like it hasn't been a rush to move along in those relationships. Part of me thinks Becca is the type to stay on a relationship and fight for it and sacrifice and realize it's not good and leave. So with Thomas, she wasn't 100%, so she bailed for the first time, and Thomas wanted to fight and stay, and that was different from her other relationships. If you want something, fight for it. Pursue that love. We have to deal with other people's baggage. We all bring our own nonsense and everyone else brings their nonsense to the table. We got to sift through the good, the bad. Someone might break up with you. Someone might dump you. They send you running. And maybe it's because of their own issues. And maybe it's because they don't like you. Don't get me wrong. They might not like you. Take their word for it. But also, if someone gives you the window to make good after maybe you had faced some adversity as a relationship, fight for that love. Fight for the resolve. Put a little Neosporin on that wound and make it work. Nothing good comes easy. Nothing's perfect out there. Every relationship has its troubles. We all have different love languages. We all have different attachment styles. And it's important that we learn about ourselves so that when we meet somebody else, we don't just push them away. You know what I mean? Let me know what you guys think. I'm very happy for them. Don't forget to hit the subscribe button if you haven't already. Tomorrow night, Friday, I've got a stand-up show in Los Angeles, North Hollywood. Free show, BYOB. If you come to the show, I'll give you some drinks. All right, if you're 21. All right, folks. Well, we'll talk to you in a little bit. Bye now.